Okay, Pete, as promised, I've got a little demonstration video here for you of the retracts that you sent me. Of course, you'll recognize these. These are the Roban retracts you sent, and I noticed that they're different. The one in the front here is a little bit smaller than the other. I'm assuming that maybe that one is a main gear and this is a nose wheel or tail wheel. And I'm glad you did that because the one closest to the camera here, the smaller one, had a slightly different stall rate than the other one, and so that allowed me to make sure that the settings on the controller were correct. This is the main control board, and this is the deluxe controller. You'll see that row of dip switches down on the bottom there, the red switches. These control the various functions of the circuit, and I'll go over them with you real quickly. Of course, the instruction sheet will give you all the details on this, but switch number 1 there is used to configure the circuit for either a 2 or a 3 gear system. There's a third cable here that we're not using right now because I have it set at the 2 gear position since I only have the 2 retracts to work with. Switch number 2 reverses that third channel. So if your nose wheel or your tail wheel needs to reverse in the opposite direction from the main gear, switch number 2 is how you make that happen. Switch number 3 turns on or off the delay, the 2-second delay on the right main gear. And that simulates the action of the retracts on a lot of warbirds. Right now I have that delay turned off. Switch number 4 determines whether or not there are gear doors present. I have it set to the position that indicates there are gear doors present. And switch number 5 determines whether or not the doors close after the gear are down. Some warbirds they do, some they don't. I have it set now to close again so that you can see all of the actions of the controller. And then on this particular one, switch number 6 is not used. Now here's the servo I'm going to use to simulate the action of your gear door servo. This of course is the battery to drive the retracts. As we discussed in the email, this is a 2-cell 2500 milliamp. If you need one of these, I stock these. I'm a Gens Ace tattoo dealer. This battery is driving them very well. They're still kind of slow, even with this 2-cell. These retracts might be designed for a 3-cell, but I'm afraid to connect a 3-cell to them. I'm afraid I'll damage them. But I think you said for the B25 that the slow movement is scale anyway, so you'd be fine with that. And then of course this is my servo tester that I'm using. This, by the way, is the one that I sell, the one I make and sell. I'm using it to provide the signal for the controller instead of having to fool with a receiver and a transmitter. Okay, now the circuit right now is in the condition it will be in every time you turn it on. This circuit is designed in such a way that every time it is powered up, it goes to the gear down position, regardless of where the switch is on the transmitter. The reason for that is you don't want to have a situation where you turn the receiver on, turn the plane on with the gear down, and you forget to check the position of the switch on the transmitter, and the gear come up and flop the plane down on its belly and tear the doors up or break a prop or something like that. So every time the unit is powered up, it will go to the gear down position. That's why you see the landing lights on. If the gear are already down, it will simply stall out, turn the lights on, and then wait for the switch on the transmitter to be toggled. Once you toggle the switch on the transmitter, and I'm going to do that now, you'll see that the retracts, well actually I'm sorry, the first thing that will happen is that the gear door servo will open. Then your retracts begin to go up, and you need a calendar to time these. These are the slowest I think I've ever seen. But as soon as they get to the full up position, you'll see that the gear door servo will close and the landing lights will go off. So that's the gear up position. We're going to go gear down. First thing that will happen is the gear door servo will open. The gear will begin to come down. after what seems like a half hour, they get to the full down position, and your landing lights will come on. Oh, the gear door servo will close, and then the landing lights will come on. Now, this circuit does have one feature that's going to be real handy for you, and I call it quick reverse. And what it means is that once you have toggled the gear to go one way or another, if you change your mind and you flip the switch on the transmitter, the gear will respond instantly. You don't have to wait for the gear to cycle from one position to the other before you change them. Now, I'll give you an example here. You're at gear down right now. Let's say you're on the runway, you've taken off, you're starting to get a little bit of altitude, and you give it gear up. The doors open, the gears start up, and something happens. Uh-oh, I need to land. Flip the switch on the transmitter, the gear come down instantly, reverse their direction, and as soon as they have stalled out, the gear door servo closes back again. That works in both directions. I'll let you go ahead and see this operating one more time. We'll let them go gear up. Our servo opened. Our gear are going to come up. Our door will close back again. Our landing lights are on right now. As soon as the door closes, the lights go off. Now I'll show you that if you're, by the same token, if you are in the gear up position and you decide it's time to land, the gear doors come open, the gears start down, the gear get down part of the way, and you look out and you see somebody on the runway, you say, whoop, need to go around. You reverse the action, immediately the gear go back up, and the gear doors close back again. This is I think going to be an especially important feature for you, given the fact that these retracts are so slow. It might create a bit of a disaster if you had to wait for this circuit to cycle completely from one position to the other. These are the Roban brushed motor retracts and the Dave's RC Electronics deluxe controller, 3-gear controller. So I'll get this video posted to YouTube and send you the link, let you take a look at it, and if everything looks good to you, I'll send you the PayPal request and get it boxed up and headed back your way. Thanks, Pete.